Wow, there's some lash glue left in my eyelashes from last night. I thought I got that all out of there. Apparently not. Hi guys! So today I thought it would be fun to film a video on the makeup that I would do like kind of on a day where I'm not going to work. I call this kind of like mom makeup because it's simple, it's not really like over the top, there's nothing too crazy about it. Now when I go to work, I work at a place where they really don't care what kind of makeup I wear. It doesn't have to be like super professional makeup or anything like that. And so I tend to kind of go all out with my makeup on my work days. But when I'm home and just hanging out with my family, if we go somewhere, this is the sort of makeup I do. That's if I'm wearing any makeup at all. On my days off work, I typically just don't wear anything. Give my skin some time to breathe and give it a little rest. But if we do go somewhere like out to lunch or out to dinner or to the zoo or to a play date, this is the sort of makeup I do. So let's get started. The first thing I would do normally when I'm doing my makeup, I start with my eye makeup, and I use tape. If you've watched my previous videos, I use tape to make sure I get like a really nice crisp line. When I'm doing a simple like mom style makeup, I don't use the tape. I don't find a need for it because I'm not doing crazy colors, I'm not doing glitter or anything like that. So instead of starting with my eyes, I'm going to start with my face makeup first. I go in with the Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. And I've already washed my face and moisturized it and all that fun stuff. This is very, very thick, if you can see that. It like comes in this little pot and you only need the tiniest bit. And I usually do it to fill in the pores on my nose. Right up here I have some scarring from where I had chickenpox as a kid. So I go there, down the sides of my nose, and then I will take a little bit kind of near like the inner corner of my eyes right here, because I do have very wrinkly under eyes, and that's just because I have really sunken under eyes. These dark circles under my eyes are not from a lack of sleep, although you might think that, having two small kids and everything. But no, they're not from a lack of sleep. They're hereditary. They are like a permanent bruise under my eyes because I have very thin capillaries. So to kind of combat that, I go in with a primer to take care of some of the wrinkling because they are just so sunken. And then I use a color corrector, and this is the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Color Corrector for dark circles. It looks almost like a concealer, but it has a little bit of like a peachy yellow tone kind of to it. And that's going to help cover up some of those dark circles. And I put this on before I do foundation. It's just helping to correct some of the blue and purple tones you'd see under my eyes. So in case I haven't mentioned it already, I do have two small kids. And you can tell probably exactly how old they are based on the amount of growth that I have on these baby hairs right here where all my hair fell out after my kids were born. So you take about 3 months after the last one was born plus his age, and that's about how far you get with that. And they just stick wherever they want to. I don't know, they're probably gonna be there forever. I can't part my hair in the center anymore because I have this nice bald spot there from losing my hair after my kids were born, so thanks kids. Next I'm going to go in with a cushion foundation. I've been trying this out and really liking it. This is the Mega Cushion Foundation from Wet n Wild. This is the very lightest color they have, 106A Light Ivory, or at least this was the lightest color they had at my Target when I went there. I like this cushion foundation because it's quick, it's easy. I use a beauty blender. It comes with a little sponge, this cushion foundation, and I don't know who uses those sponges. Not anybody that I want to be friends with. So I'm just going to pat that on. It smells kind of like bubble bath. Smells a little bit like children's shampoo. Yeah, I don't mind it though. I like it. Be sure to take a little bit of this down your neck. This shade is a pretty good match for me, but you never want that line of really stark demarcation between your face foundation and the color of your neck. And I'm actually going to go over my eyelids with the little bit that's kind of just left on the sponge after I've tapped most of it around my face. I like to have like a nice blank slate, especially on days like this. Days where I do a lot of intense makeup or glittery makeup, I use a primer on my eyes and then they're covered in color anyway. But days like today, I'm not gonna do that. Days like today I do simple makeup, and so I like to start with a nice clean canvas. Okay, I think that'll be pretty good. Maybe a little more coverage on the cheeks. Okay. Next I'll use a little bit of the Tarte Shape Tape concealer. Just do a dot of this forehead, a couple dots under my eyes, and then blend it in. This will help to cover up some of the blemishes I have kind of around my forehead here, the redness from that. Also helps to cover up some of that scarring I was talking about from having chickenpox earlier. That hair is in my way. What is it doing? Get out. There. And again, I blend this under eye concealer in, and then you can see on my Beauty Blender there's like a little bit left. And I just kind of sweep that lightly over my eyelids. Wow, there's some lash glue left in my eyelashes from last night. I thought I got that all out of there. Apparently not. Now that that's all blended, I'm going to take this IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores pressed powder in translucent. I'm just going to tap a fluffy powder brush into that and then set the makeup under my eyes and on the rest of my face. And you can still see, even though I did that color correcting under my eyes, even though there's foundation under my eyes, even though there is a boatload of really, really heavy, intense concealer under my eyes, you can still see the lines where I have dark circles. And that's just something I'm going to have forever. I think the only way I've heard to get rid of that is to have fillers put under your eye. And I don't think I'm ever going to do something like that, because to be honest, that kind of freaks me out. Okay, once your face is set, we can go in with a little bit of bronzer to warm up the complexion. As you can see, I'm like fish belly white, so any little bit of help I can get in that department I'll take. I'm using the Hoola bronzer by Benefit on this kind of fluffy bronzing brush, and I just take it along my cheekbones and then up into my hairline, make my 5 head into a 4 head. I know I'm not the first person that's used that joke, but it's a good one. I actually kind of want to try the Hoola Light. They have a bronzer that's specifically made for light skin, because see, that it looks almost a little too dark for me, especially in the winter time. I have to like really, really, really blend it in. Once we're done bronzing, we can go in with a little bit of blush. I am using one of my favorite things. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush Bazaar. It was a holiday palette from last year. And look, there's so many pretty colors of blush. I really like this. I think I'm going to use the color Angelic. It's this one right here. It's a very, like, kind of natural, neutral looking blush. Nothing too crazy, nothing too bright, and I'm using a Real Techniques blush brush for that. Just lightly put that from the apples of my cheeks and pull it back. That looks pretty good. Next I will do my brows, and God help me doing these while I'm trying to talk. So funny little story while I'm doing this. I used to use this Sephora brush for my brows, like a little angled, stiff angled brush to put on brow powder after I was done putting on an eyebrow pencil. Well, the other day I was using it and I went to put it back in my makeup cup where I keep all my brushes, and I missed and it fell behind my vanity, and I'm lazy, like I wasn't gonna go fish it out. So the next day when I had to do my brows, I grabbed a different brush. I grabbed this Veramona Sculpt and Line brush. Come on, focus. There we go. And it's so much thinner than the one I was using. And it made me realize that the brush I was using was too thick, and so it was like not making the tail of my brow into a nice little point. It was kind of making it a little bit fuzzy and chunky. And so after I used this Veramona brush, I was like, oh man, I gotta use more of that. So that's the one I've been using now for several days, and I think it looks awesome, and I'm gonna keep using it. So it turned out dropping my brush behind my vanity was like a blessing in disguise. Alright, so I'm just lining the bottom portion of my brow and then filling it in with light little strokes. And then I line the bottom of the tail and drag the top part down lightly. I don't go too dark with this. I say I don't go too dark with this, and you're looking at that like, lady, your brow is way dark. Once I use the spoolie to kind of brush some of that out of there, then I'll go over it with powder and it will look, you know, not as blocky and chunky. Now I try to make my brows twins, but you guys have all heard that saying, eyebrows are sisters, not twins. Sometimes mine are half-sisters. Okay, so that's usually how I go about using a brow pencil. I didn't say what this was, but I've used it in previous videos. This is the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in a color. Does it say what color? Espresso. Espresso. It's like brown. Then I take the spoolie, because that's the nice thing about this Veramona Sculpt and Line brush. It's got a spoolie on one end and the brush on the other. Take the spoolie and just kind of brush that through. And then I go in with the powder. And of course I use my favorite Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo in soft brown. Get a little on this brush. And I'm just going over the places where I already used the brow pencil just to make it look a little bit more natural with the powder. Sometimes those brow pencils and pomades, if you get the lines too harsh, it looks very fake. So I like to go in with the powder afterwards and just soften everything up. Alright, so the brows are done. Next we'll move on to eyeshadow. Today for eyeshadow I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. I like this because it has 3 quads in it. There is a warm tone one, a cool tone one, and a neutral one. Today I think I'm going to be sticking to the neutral one. So I'm going to take this kind of yellow tone shade there, and that's going to go all over my lid. I've mentioned this before, but I don't typically use an eye primer unless I'm doing something really crazy because my skin is very dry. I don't have oily eyelids, and so eyeshadow tends to last pretty well on me. And plus, this is just very simple makeup today. I'm not doing anything special or spectacular, so I just wouldn't use an eye primer for this. Next, I'm going to use the same fluffy blending brush that I just used for that kind of yellow tone powder, and I'm going to go in to this one right here, this kind of tan shade. And this is going to be kind of a crease and transition color. I'm just using this to give my eyes a little bit of definition since this is a very simple makeup day. Now that the lids are kind of lightly defined, I'm going to go in with a bit of this whiter shade right here. It's kind of cream colored, and that is just going to be my all over lid color. Something I can kind of blend into that transition shade. Alright, so that's the eyeshadow look that we are going with today. Next I'm going to add eyeliner. Usually I like a winged liner. I almost feel like my eyes are naked without winged liner, but in the spirit of keeping this tutorial simple and good for an everyday look, I am going to skip the wing liner today, and instead of using my tried and true Kat Von D tattoo liner, I will be using this Makeup Forever Aqua XL liner. This is not a brush tip, it's just your standard like kohl sharpenable pencil, and I'm just going to be doing a line. doing a line. 20 years ago, that would have meant something very different 10 years ago. No, we're not doing any kind of line like that, we're just making a line of eyeliner. Now when people do this, I see a lot of people grab their eye and like pull their eye back to do it. Don't do that. You're going to give yourself premature wrinkles, and I spend a lot of time on skincare to prevent wrinkles. So don't pull on your eye. It's not the end of the world if it's a little bit messy. Because don't worry, we're going to be going over this with just a teeny bit of eyeshadow. Now that we've gotten the liner on, I'm going to use this teeny little pencil brush. It's a liner smudge brush from Eco Tools. I'm going to go back into that Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. There is a black in this palette that I'll be using right there. I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of that, just a tiniest little tap on this brush, tap off the excess, and then use it to kind of smudge out that liner. Once your top liner has been smudged out a little with that black, I'm going to take kind of a thin and pointed shader brush. I'm going to go back into this tan shade that we used in our transition, and I'm going to lightly take some of that under my eye on my lash line, just to give a more finished off appearance to the eyes. Alright, now before I do mascara, this next step is one that I do as a personal thing for me. If this doesn't work for you, this is fine. But I noticed that when I would do my mascara first and then put on a setting spray, it would make my lashes kind of like stick to the bottom of my eyes, and then I would leave little mascara dots everywhere, and that's not a good look. So before I do my mascara, I actually take my Fix Plus from MAC, and I'll just spritz a light bit. I'll just spritz a light bit, she says as she drenches her face in MAC Fix Plus. And once this is dry, you can use your mirror. It doubles as a fan. once this is dry, I'll go in with my eyelash curler. And I go in with my favorite mascara currently. It is the Monsieur Big Lash by Lancome. I don't know what it is about this mascara, I just love it. It's just perfect for me. Starting at the base, I wiggle the mascara wand as I pull it up. And that helps to make your lashes look more voluminous. I just love this mascara, like it makes it look so fluffy. And then once mascara is on, I like to finish it off with a little bit of a lip balm. On days like this where I'm not doing very many things, I'm not going anywhere special, I don't usually wear lipstick, but I will wear this Tarte, what is the name of this? Yes, Tarte Quench Lip Rescue. I love these. This is the nude one, and they're just super moisturizing, really comfortable, and they have just a tiny bit of color. So that's it. That's the final look. I think this is a great look for, like, just not only moms, but like people every day when you want to look put together, but not over the top, when you want to look pretty, but not like a homewrecker, when you want to look presentable, but not like you tried too hard. This is my go-to. I hope you guys enjoyed this very much, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week. Bye.